What's up, everybody? Once again, I'm filming here in the basement. And let me tell you what the fuck I want to talk about. Alright, in my masculine shoulders. Look at that. See those shoulders? I'm Hawk. By the way, have you got, for all my Hajime no Ippo fellow fans, I just finished seeing the Takamura versus Brian Hawk championship match. And man, that fucking fight was fucking awesome. Hajime no Ippo. Great fucking boxing anime. I'm sorry, but that fight was just so intense. And just Takamura's just a beast. Just, you know, him and Brian Hawk, they were just two regular street fighters, you know? They were brawling in the ring. And then I like Brian Hawk's I'm not gonna ruin it for you, for anybody, because you guys just gotta check out this anime, and wow, that fight scene was great. But seeing Brian Hawk's background story, how he grew up in the slums of New York, man, now I see why that guy was so sick in the head. He was just such a violent motherfucker. Anyway, let's move on. Elfen lied. A lot of people ask me, oh, I'm looking for a good anime to watch. There's a fucking fly here. Hold on a second. A lot of people ask me about if any good animes. Any good animes out there, Faded? You recommend any good animes or whatever? Elfen lied, excuse me. Elfen lied. Great fucking series, man. It's like 13 episodes. I'm gonna post with the link to the trailer. Okay, just check it out. Elfen lied it revolves around social alienation, is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, social alienation, emotions. It revolves around child abuse, jealousy, the dark, sad side of human nature. And it's basically about this mutant species called Declonius, who have these transparent telekinetic powers that follow them from behind, these group of hands, and they can just rip people's limbs apart, their heads apart, and everything. The anime revolves around a character who has a split personality named Lucy. Lucy, because she has a split personality. She escapes this how we call it, this science lab, this military science lab, and she ends up catching amnesia. She meets these two people that are cousins. She becomes friends with them. They find her naked on the beach, and then they befriend her. And next thing you know, they start realizing like what she is. You know, she has all these crazy fucking powers. The government is after her, and she just starts violence, limbs flying all over the place. There's also some disturbing things in that anime as well. I mean, this anime was fucking great. Like I said, check out the trailer. It may look all cutesy wootsy to you. It may look all fucking cute, but some of the characters, you just fall in love with the characters, because you just like, you know, you feel their pain, you feel their emotion. And it's actually one of the very, very few animes that I actually, believe it or not, I actually shed a couple tears in it. Especially the end. I'm not going to ruin it for you. And now, I should have talked about this video when Chris Benoit's death happened. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I figured, let me make it anyway. Let me just be all late about it and talk about Chris Benoit. What do I think about his death? His apparent, his murder-suicide. His double murder-suicide. Let me say this. Canada has always breeded some of the best wrestlers out there. You got Edge, Christian, okay, the Hart family, Chris Benoit, obviously, Vampiro. What you guys know about Vampiro from Ottawa, Canada? I hope all my fellow wrestling fans knew about that. Vampiro, very underrated in WCW. He wasn't used right. The guy had the potential to definitely be championship material, you know? Especially the feud he had with Sting. Remember that? When him and Sting had, what was it, the fire match, I think? And they were fighting on top of the Titantron, and then I think Sting got lit on fire. Was it Sting that got lit on fire? And he fell like 50 feet, 30 feet below. That was a good match, you know? Back during the WCW greedy days when when Bischoff wasn't giving a fuck about the young talent, you know? So Bischoff, fuck you for basically fucking up WCW. WCW had the potential, man, but back then I liked WCW more than WWE because they had much more better wrestlers in my opinion, you know, much more young talent and the luchadors, but they just, like I said, they weren't using them right. Vampiro and the Great Muta and the ICP when they had the Dark Carnival, that could have been a big hit for you, WCW. But whatever. WCW is dead. Who gives a fuck about WCW now? It's time to move on. Chris Benoit, definitely a good wrestler. Brought us years of great wrestling matches, memories. I was at WrestleMania, what was it, 20 or 21? At Madison Square Garden, where he fought Triple H and won the title. I was at there, and I got to experience that. All the way fucking nosebleed seats, but fuck it. And then the Brock Lesnar, Goldberg match, you know, anybody that was out there and was at that WrestleMania, I loved the Brock Lesnar and Goldberg match. I loved both those wrestlers. The fans were fucking booing. The New York crowd have always been very tough, you know. But they were booing so loud, you know, at the match. And I'm looking around, I'm like, why? I mean, these are, in my opinion, these were two great wrestlers, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. And now everybody's kissing Brock Lesnar's ass because he's on UFC now. You know, fucking hypocrites. Some of these wrestling fans can be. Some of you wrestling fans can be fucking hypocrites. One minute you're booing him in the ring, the next minute you're fucking cheering him on. Cheering him in UFC. Make up your fucking mind. Let's move on. So, the positive of Chris Benoit, like I said, great wrestling. He had talent. He was trained by the best, okay? The Rabbit Wolverine, you know, gotta respect him. I respect his talent, you know, respect everything he brought us, definitely. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about that. Gotta credit him for that. Now, we all know that, you know, he was doing steroids, pills. Doctors even said that he had some kind of advanced form of dementia. You know, even his brain, his head, taking all them shots on the wrestling mat, shots to the head with chairs, just all the years that he's been wrestling, his brain was fucked up, you know? His head just wasn't in its proper state. His brain, from what I read, was all mushy and it resembled that of an Alzheimer's patient. So I'm pretty sure what happened at that house, Chris Benoit, he must have went psychological. He just must have went fucking crazy somehow. Killed his wife, got into an argument with her, killed her, realized that, you know, his son, you know, how is he gonna explain this to his son? Mommy's missing, mommy's dead. So he killed his son to put him out of his misery and then kill himself. Just to end it, you know, have all three go together. What Chris Benoit did was basically, it was a bitch fucking scumbag asshole move on his part. You see, it's hard for me to say this because, you know, Chris Benoit was one of my favorite wrestlers. You know, but the guy was a fucking jerk for what he did. Okay? I'm pretty sure if he would have faced a court of law, if he didn't commit suicide, he probably would have been found, you know, not guilty by because of his psychological state. You know, I'm pretty sure whatever was going on through his mind, who knows, you know? He must, it's obviously he went crazy, you know? But when you think about it, I mean, the guy was texting Eddie Guerrero, who was it, Chavo? He texted a couple people, so he had this, it seemed like he had this already in plan, in motion. So he must have been thinking right. Or maybe he wasn't. Who knows? Like I said, Chris Benoit's mind was very different from ours. From all the years of abuse to the head and all that, and all the drugs he used to take. Definitely rest in peace, Chris Benoit. But wherever you are right now, you know, hey, rest in peace, you know. I'm staring at the man in the mirror. So fill me in on your thoughts, people. What do you think of Chris Benoit? You know, what do you think? Do you really think he was a fucking asshole for what he did? Okay, let's see how many wrestling fans are gonna get pissed off at me, because I know I'm gonna have a few people get pissed off at me and disagree with me. That's fine. When another person takes away the life of a woman and a child like that in a very brutal fashion, the way he did, you gotta admit that fucking pisses you off. Okay, so definitely Chris Benoit, I won't knock you down, your credibility, your strength in the ring. Okay. Your talent, you were great at that. But what you did, Fuck you.